This week on Media Delta, Fatal Fury, the motion picture. You remember how in Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, there was that infamous Chun-Li shower scene? Fatal Fury, the motion picture, remembers that well. And that's all it took from the Street Fighter 2 animated movie. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Media Delta. We have an interesting to talk about today. So when I was coming up with episodes, I knew that there was an OVA based on Fatal Fury. I actually knew that there was a couple of them. What I thought was the first one was the one that I thought was just Fatal Fury, the motion picture, but actually it's the third one. It's actually the last of the three. But I don't think you really. There is technically some continuity, but oh well. We kind of missed a little bit of it, and I couldn't find the other ones on YouTube. But yes, we were talking about Fatal Fury, the motion picture. And we had such a good time watching Street Fighter 2, the motion picture. Clearly, this is going to be just as good because Fatal Fury is one, it was just in Fatal Fury 2 were just as good as Street Fighter 2. So of course this is going to be just as good, right?
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah. So I was not the only one who watched. Please introduce yourselves in alphabetical order.
This is Carnival. Calling in to say, please, for the love of God, someone do a fight scene.
This is Chachi begging to move the plot forward.
This is Donut. Why? Why did we do this?
And I'm Torpid Typus, and I'm here for questionable titty physics.
Yeah. This is a thing. Let's just call it a thing. So the weird thing is actually about this, is that this is actually directed by someone who is relatively well known for making this kind of thing. Directed by Masami Obari, who has things like he's mostly known for mecha designs, I believe, is like one of his big calls. But he is also a director. Although looking at the stuff that he's done, nothing too particularly noteworthy, with the exception of 2 episodes of the Bubblegum Crisis OVA. He did the episodes Moonlight Rambler and Red Eyes.
Okay, but also did things like Viper GTS and Angel Blade.
Yeah, we don't talk about the porn.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just flat out porn, yeah.
Yeah, OVA is based on porn, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he also did a few other. He didn't just do the Fatal Fury OVAs. He also did actually he actually did a few other fighting game based OVAs. He did Voltage Fighter, the OVA based on Voltage Fighter Gaokaiser, I believe is how you pronounce that. And also
Sure.
Battle Arena Toshinden. So yeah. But also he's done mech stuff. He's done like designs for he's done Gundam designs. Like I think he was the designer for the mechs on Iron Blooded Orphans.
He was animation direction, key animation, and in between animation.
Yep.
So he
Also,
just
he's worked on
it all.
He's also worked a whole bunch on the Super Robot Wars game. Also, apparently, he voices one of the characters in Voltage Fighter Gaokaiser.
Great.
Yeah. But nonetheless, that'll be for another day. But yes, this thing, Fatal Fury, the motion picture, technically is the third in a line of Fatal Fury based anime things. This is generally based on it has the characters of Fatal Furies 1 and 2, also including Special. You hear a lot of mention, although I don't think you explicitly see him on screen, of Wolfgang Krauser. You do see Geese Howard for like a flashback, but yeah, it is kind of a thing of it does the video game OVA thing of uh basically it's like, oh hey, here's the scene with Duck King, and here's the scene with Kim Kapuan. So it has all the characters in it and they just show up in random spots. But they're not the main heroes are the Fatal Fury trio of Terry Bogard, Andy Bogard, and Joey Gashi, plus Mai.
Plus my beautiful my.
Yes.
And an OC.
Yeah, all the OTs.
A new
There-
OC with new blue hair.
Yeah, there's a thing with a blue-haired girls dying, apparently.
Yeah, it's a strange thing in the series.
So we're just gonna kind
Blue
of
haired, really quick. Blue hair girls dying, and Terry falling in love with them after all of a fucking day.
True. And what weirded me out more is like he had such feelings for that girl in the first movie, this Lily, but like she actively got his father killed and he watched it happen. And he still fell in love with her so many years later and thinks about her 2 movies later. Sir.
Regardless, though, Lola.
yeah. We are just going to. It's kind of hard to do questions for this one because there's a lot to unpack in this one. So we're just going to go round robin and basically,
Cool.
at first, we are going to just kind of give our general impressions and then something that we want to bring up. And then once we get done with that, we're just going to go around again and just basically keep on bringing up things that we want to talk about until no one has anything to talk about.
Wound wobbin.
Yes,
Good
well,
plan.
yes, I know I flubbed my R there.
Wound wobbin.
Yes. So Carnival, what were your general impressions of this, and what's one thing you want to talk about?
I gotta be honest. I enjoyed watching this. This doesn't make it good, but I had a good time in terms of it's enjoyable, it's silly, but man, this was bad. This was bad, and they don't even give you the satisfaction of seeing the special moves in the big final fight. It's just there. All I
Yeah.
wanted was, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I don't. Did they even use Buster Wolf at all in this?
No,
No,
he
No.
didn't. That's the best part.
He used Power Geyser, not Buster Wolf.
Great. Yeah. This thing, it does the thing that every OVA does, which is basically, hey, you see the moves kind of, but it's always in never a way you kind of want it to. Outside of seeing the Shoryuken that got his scar in this the street. I don't know why I called almost called Street Fighter. It's Street Fighter 2, the animated movie.
but at least that one you at least felt it more of everyone's like doing their specials compared to this, where it's like, eh.
Can I
Yeah.
tell you something about why we don't see Buster Wolf in this OVA?
Sure.
It's because this OVA was released 5 years before Buster Wolf was included in one of the games.
Well, there we go. Now we
I
know.
thought Buster Wolf was like from like at least 3.
Garo Mark of the Wolves, 1999.
Was it
Really?
really?
It was only in Garo.
hmm
Oh, I thought Buster.
Tonight we learned.
Huh.
Yeah, no, it's Garo apparently.
Whoops. Never mind.
Wow.
Fine, you get that one. You get that one OVA. There
Yeah.
are still plenty of other times.
Yeah, Buster Wolf was a move introduced in Garo Mark of the Wolves.
Well, shit.
Call me Keanu Reeves because I'm the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
We fucked up,
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah, it shows how
Oh,
Good
much.
time to be one.
Yeah, it shows how much I play Fatal Fury. Yeah. So you see a number of the moves, but yeah. Anything else you wanted to mention?
Not for now. I'll come around when it's another.
All right, Chachi.
Carnival is exactly right. This is a film equivalent of potato chips or popcorn. It's not good for you, and you're probably not going to feel all that great if you consume too much. But it's a lot of fun to share with your friends. And I'm trying to think of something actually nice to say about the film. I will say that the sort of globe-trotting aspect of the plot did allow the artists and animation team to flex their creative muscles a little bit and represent some pretty neat places around the world, both famous and maybe less so at the time.
Wasn't the background artist for this like Kyoto Animation?
That sounds correct. That's about all. Like this is a hoot, but boy, it doesn't really hold up.
Uh, specific you want to mention?
Oh, let's see. I mean, I'd rather I'd rather not drill too deep on the initial turnaround. So if something comes up, I'll of course raise the flag. But no, I think it's this is a potato chisp of a film.
Yeah. All right. Donut.
All right. This was a baffling film. It was definitely fun, but there was a moment about 45 minutes in where the original movie, the first one was only like 45 minutes. And
So real quick, to be fair, the first two were TV specials.
they were I'm very glad they were just specials because I wish this one had cut it down a little bit. But it felt like at that midpoint, it didn't I wouldn't say it's worse than the other ones or even better. And I don't want to call it a bad film. Definitely a fun popcorn with your friends film. But I think like that moment where everything just starts popping off, where Terry's like riding a motorcycle and then he blows up the top of a building and everybody's just popping in and out. I wanted kind of more of that from the beginning of the film. And I wish they had kind of kept that flow of like if they were just going to throw random characters in, like let's go to Geese in the Woods talking about nothing except revenge. Have more of that. Just like sprinkle that in more throughout, even if it's not relevant. Because some characters I felt like just kind of I felt like I was playing Guess Who for a long time, and then the movie was just kind of over.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in this movie that definitely did not need to exist. A lot of characters that did not need to exist.
Like Billy just being there, and then I'm going to go tell Geese about Terry.
As much as I like Duck King, I feel like that nightclub scene did not need to exist.
It didn't at all. It was just for like my fan service, which the movie already had plenty of.
Look, they had they had to get the funding for this movie somehow. Clearly, that's how.
Just open the movie with just Mai taking a shower. Just do what they did with Chun-Li.
Yeah.
Look, if she wasn't topless, she was just waving them titties around regardless.
That's one thing I want to mention. The outfits in this movie. That's one thing I liked. Just the amount of, because with most SNK games, all the art for the characters is it's so different from like Street Fighter art, because it's not just okay, here you are in your fighting outfit, or here you are in your fighting outfit color 2. Like Mai has all these like fun fashiony outfits that she's popping in and out of, and they're always getting sliced up, but they're so fun.
To be fair, the OC also goes through a bunch of different outfits as well.
She does. She just keeps getting skinnier, and the skirts keep getting shorter, and clothes just.
I don't know. You say that one of her first outfits straight up shows ass cheek because the skirt is so short.
True. I'm fixated on that. She had that cute little like sleeveless turtleneck with the midriff with the little short skirt when they were in whatever country, looking looking at ruins, just expositioning.
Oh, when
and I
they
was
were
like,
in
"Look
fucking
at you,
Israel?
girl."
When they were dicking around in Israel?
I forget. They went to Israel. Didn't they go to South America for a second?
They went
did.
to so what? They went to Germany, they went to Baghdad, and went to
Okay.
That sounds about right.
Okay, maybe it was in Baghdad, but I
They
can't.
specifically went to the Dead Sea at one point.
Yeah,
That's
they definitely went
true.
to Israel.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
no, it was certainly something. I think Andy even changed up his clothes because Terry's a fucking murder hobo. He had the same outfit the entire
The
fucking
same
time.
time. But Andy had that like off the shoulder like swimsuit thing. He was working it. And Joe with his little nothing going on, competing for like ass cheek ratio with my
Now you got
except
once again Terry in the same outfit the whole way
Joe
through
needed
because
more
he
ass.
can't afford a new one.
except no one had ass.
No one had ass. Everyone was like super slim too.
No butts.
Look, this was before the era of the thickness, okay?
Yes. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
Look, this was before the era where every MILF had to be built like a brick shithouse.
I think that's about it.
All right, Torpo.
Oh, give me a sec. Sorry. Okay. This movie's shit. It was fun to watch, but it wasn't good. It was definitely not good. Also, as someone who is not familiar with the Fatal Fury series, this is a hot mess.
Super hot mess.
Like, at least in Street Fighter, even if I'm not familiar, like terribly familiar with Street Fighter lore, at least I got to see people beat the fuck out of each other and it be entertaining. In this, it kind of largely skips around the fights, or it's just all ended with one move. Or like
Yeah.
one dude gets his shit fucking beat and then immediately finishes the fight with one move.
Yeah.
Again, this
Looking
is
at
not
you.
Sam's show.
Yeah, looking at you, Kim.
Cam's fight. Wow.
I'm gonna show my kid how to fight, and then he gets his shit fucking wrecked.
Kid,
Immediately.
let me show you in the future how you're gonna set your top to the bottom of the bar, and then once you're about to die, your moves become twice as strong.
It's like, oh, cool, sweet. So I just have to half die first. Got it, Dad.
Or like fucking Joe early on, just sitting in the. It was supposed to be Muay Thai, but they were wearing boxing gloves and it was magical. Just getting punched repeatedly in the face, and then he knees a dude to the face and he's out flat on the ground.
Yeah.
And yet,
Man,
despite
there
all
were-
that, so many of the main characters get fucking jobbed repeatedly, just over and over.
It's so frustrating. Everyone's just jobbing left and right.
It's so bad. Like, oh my god. All of them get their shit beat repeatedly. Mai does nothing, really. She just exists to get her clothes torn off and sexually assaulted.
I love when she gave that speech about how she had to like go fight beside her love and immediately gets fucking murked, just thrown straight
Yeah.
into a fucking wall.
No, I'm glad they felt the need to include the classic fucking rapey pretty dude. Like, thanks.
Right?
That's what we needed.
Yep.
Thank you. No, it was definitely not good. It looked okay up until it started moving.
Yep.
It was not great in motion some of the times. Also, once again, my incredibly questionable titty physics. She existed just to be fan service and nothing more.
Yes. Welcome to my sure knife.
That's her life.
Yeah, that's
That's
There's
mine.
some people that are okay with her, but mostly she's fan service.
Just once again, she was either topless half the time or shaking them titty. Like it was one or the other, sometimes both.
Or showing ass.
Or showing ass. Whatever was there, yeah.
She doesn't even get the exposition like the rest of them. She just says like, I'm
No.
I'm a ninja. Look at my titty.
And I love Andy. Don't forget that part.
Oh, she does love Andy.
Yeah.
And they're not sleeping in the same bedness.
No, Andy sleeps on the couch, motherfucker. I don't know. I still love like in Terry's case, the lady lead who knew him for all of a day was basically throwing herself at him. He's like, no, just gonna close the door later.
I really
Yeah.
wish Blue Mary would have
better
just showed
life.
up at the end. Just like, listen, we're done with these girls.
And then eventually the lady's like, I'm just gonna go into my underwear and just lay on top of him to heal him.
That was so weird.
It was such a
Yeah.
weird scene.
Yeah, because you had the blue haired girl also is like a magician.
She's a
No, she's a
wizard, but a
cleric.
healing
Oh,
wizard.
cleric. Yeah.
It was terrible.
You good for this turn?
Yeah, for now.
All right. So my take on this is that this is basically I'm gonna go with the potato chip analog, but I'm gonna do it one like this is not just a bag of potato chips. This is a bag of potato chips you buy at the store with your friends when know that you're gonna watch a piece of crap movie, and then you eat it. You know that it's going to be bad, but it's at least a bad in an entertaining way. That you at least have fun while eating this terrible bag of potato chips. Because this movie on its own, like as a film, is not good. Like I have to try to say it. This is not a good movie. But enough dumb stuff happens that if you're watching it with a group of people, it is incredibly entertaining because all of you are yelling how stupid this movie is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it does Fatal Fury disservice. Like, also, I know that he's probably a villain in the other ones, but just bring back Geese Howard there or Wolfgang. Fatal Fury has good villains. The one in this, the OC in this one is not good.
I think they probably, to be fair, I think they probably did that because that is who they used for a movie or for the specials 1 and 2.
Probably.
They just went like Geese and Wolfgang.
I was gonna say even like Fatal Fury 3. Wait, was Fatal Fury? I don't know. I gotta check. But I know Fatal Fury has Fatal Fury 3.
They have those
Oh, that
weird
was, oh yeah,
twins.
that would come out the next year. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
those weird twins were in existence yet.
yeah. Um, but yeah, still, it's like the quote unquote final boss they have for this thing is not as good. Also voiced by Single D Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddie, also Kevin from Captain N, which kind of really took my his threatening ability down quite a bit. Because if you listen to him talk, you can kind of hear the Kevin from Captain N voice come out in it, but him trying to be kind of a threatening villain. It doesn't work that well.
The most threatening thing about Laughorn is what happens to his package when he finally acquires all of the MacGuffins.
Oh
That
goodness.
that's a declaration of war stapled to his front.
Okay, to be fair, there was also some like powerful package game early on in the movie too that only I seem to have noticed, despite pointing it out.
Shocker. I can't believe I didn't notice. Who was it?
I forget who it was. It was one of the villains though.
Huh.
Oh, was it that big beefy man that
I
fights
think it was
Terry?
the big beefy dude.
Yeah,
He just
he
like had
was.
a very prominent bulge.
I think it was just like the rest of his outfit was just so extravagant. I didn't notice. Crazy. That's crazy.
Also Laughorn having literal titty plate.
He had like a lot of
They were,
plates.
it's like I understand a breastplate, but they were just it's like he put two fucking iPhones and just like slapped them to his titties and said we're good to go. I'm strong now.
All right. Because yeah, that's basically my gist on it. If there's something I want to call out, it why why did the Duck King scene need to happen?
Also, really quick, I do want to say the big villain of the movie gets jobbed by the bigger villain, who then gets fucking jobbed by Terry, and it's
Right?
beautiful.
Yeah.
They Final Fantasy the shit out of that last villain. Well, I guess it is SNK, so yeah, they just pull out the random god that you need to sweep kick until he dies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
But
SNK bosses suck.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Also, speaking of other SNK things, another thing I wanted to bring up in the Duck King scene. Why is Nakaruru there?
Why was she there? I've been asking that. I've been wondering.
Because yeah, there's just a character that it's just dressed up like Nakaruru in this you know club that no one else is dressed up in anything close. Like you can see if there was like, oh, it's characters that are dressed up like other SNK things because SNK exists in this universe because a Neo Geo land exists in this universe.
It sure does.
And Terry sucks at fighting games,
They
apparently.
sure do. He keeps going to these arcades and losing, and then he always meets a new blue-haired girl.
That's why he
So
keeps going to the arcades.
He needs to
He
stop.
established a
We need to have an intervention.
he's established a pattern here that he
Also,
hasn't proven wrong.
also there was a thing that I was annoyed at the arcade, but it's a thing that doesn't really matter is the fact that the cabinets they have drawn looked like they are in the traditional Japanese style of one cabinet back to back in a versus game. But the thing is that it's a two joystick back like side to side thing, which that's but nonetheless they are labeled that they are clearly Neo Geo cabinets, also that they are labeled MVS, which I thought was a neat touch.
I can speak a little bit about the Nakaruru. I won't call it an Easter egg because it was shoved right in your face. Her
Right.
her appearance. So Reiko Chiba is a voice actress who played Nakaruru in Samurai Showdown, the motion picture. She has two speaking roles in the Japanese version of this film. The first is she's the woman who gives Joe his celebratory bouquet after he beats Hua Jai at the MMA match at the beginning of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually say, "Oh, are you that Reiko Chiba?" The
Is
second,
she?
yeah, it's
Okay.
literally supposed to be, "Hi, I'm Reiko Chiba, the actress. How you doing?"
That's cute.
Um,
I love you, Pink Ranger.
the the second thing is Nakaruru in the club that's just Reiko Chiba again. For some reason, she showed up dressed as Nakamura. Partially
All
as
right.
it's for two reasons. One, it's sort of a visual goof, and two, she performed a image song for Mai Shiranui on the Fatal Fury special arranged soundtrack.
Huh.
Good
So
for her.
there's that. It doesn't make it any less baffling, but that's their reasoning.
Also, now I'm remembering that Samurai Showdown, the motion picture, also exists.
Oh man, it sure does.
Can't possibly be worse than this.
I
It
don't remember.
is.
I don't remember it being like this bad, but I remember it not being good.
What
Also, if we're talking weird cameos, didn't Geese have like a very weird, very brief
yes,
appearance?
so quick. It's because Billy was like, "Hey, Terry's gonna go fight this man with armor. I thought you should know." And Geese was just like, "Raging storm." Ha ha ha. Look at my scar. And that was it.
Yeah. Also, Geese Howard, who should not be alive at this point, if I remember correctly, or is that? Oh wait, that's the end of. That's the
That's in,
at the
that's in a
second
3.
time he gets knocked off of a building
Yeah.
after what was it, real bout? Like the first real bout, I think, is the one in which he
Think
canonically
so.
dies.
Whichever the one was before Garou.
Yeah, it would be. Well, because I think it's real bout Fatal Fury Special is the one in which he dies. Because then I think Real About 2 has another relative of Wolfgang, but that I can't quite remember that. But nonetheless, Geese Howard just kind of shows up and just is like as an Easter egg, even though he's like one of the better characters in Fatal Fury. So,
Uh,
so yeah.
yeah, with
Uh,
this movie, just having seen previous films like Fatal Fury 1, well the TV specials, seeing Battle Arena to Shinden and Samurai Showdown. Maybe that's why I don't think this one is the worst, because like Christ. The first one is awful. And Battle Arena to Shinden is there's no words. There's also almost no words in the OVA, but that's a different.
By the same token, we shouldn't exactly hurt anything leaping over those bars.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Also, forgot that there's an Art of Fighting OVA. Apparently, there's a lot of fighting game OVAs.
Man, I don't even remember Art of like I would legit
Because
all of the modern day
there
fighting
are
games.
there are two things that people know of Art of Fighting, and they're two best things that came in the first game. Well, okay, three. You got Yuri and you got King.
Yeah, no, I was about to say
You
that.
also Robert Garcia is kind of cool, but
Robert, he's kind of cool.
Like, yeah, I was about to say, like, you have 2/3 of my King of Fighters team. So
yeah, because I don't think because I am looking at all the characters that are in Fatal or not Fatal Fury in Art of Fighting. The only ones that are notable are King, Mr. Big, uh, Robert Garcia. That's about it. Also Mr. Karate,
Mr.
maybe.
Karate is pretty cool.
But yeah,
like legit, the best thing that SNK did was just fold all their other fighting games into King of Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Cause at least then that forced them to like, okay, we need to like figure things out and like get a bit more
yeah,
like
let's like after they did stuff like Savage Rain, which no one remembers. It's like let's just make one fighting game.
yeah, like I would love another Last Blade 2 or a Last Blade 3, but like they just needed one modern day period, one Sengoku era fighting game, and one Bakametsu fighting game period. Like you can have more than one fighting game, but just do something set their do different eras of points in time so you can do a bit more like weird mechanic stuff.
Yeah.
Nerd.
Yeah. But yes. So I think we it sounds like we'll probably just be doing one more round of I was just say, I don't even know, is the round robin even necessary? Is there anything that anyone wants to bring up?
Terry just murdered people when he blew up that building, and nobody cared. He just power geysered that building and sent debris down into the streets. jumped into a river, got dragged out by a tiny girl, and nobody said a thing. And then they let that old man die when she started having like a just so many
And
things in this movie.
don't forget Terry destroying historical ruins.
All of them. What about that
All
lady
of
with the cool
them.
water power? She just murdered that one man, the Matador man.
Yeah, Lawrence Blood
Uh,
honestly had a pretty good aesthetic, existed solely to be murdered by an OC.
goodness.
I think the two things I would say about this movie is watching it is basically opening a time capsule back to the 90s, and contained therein are a bunch of action figures from a popular video game franchise, and this film is just slapping them together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good way of phrasing it.
which I do appreciate because even though that like it's still this movie, the probably the closest character that they get absolutely correct is Mai, but that's probably just more an indictment of just Mai's character than anything else.
Pretty much. That does actually remind me
My.
of another point. Is that this English voice cast is kind of not great.
The hell
Uh,
you say?
Being kind.
uh, I'm looking at the list. I'm gonna before I say that, I'm gonna look to see if any of these are like. I don't think that any of these are like
Who played Susu Sulia? I need to know.
Suya. Let's see.
While you're looking that up, I just want
What
to
her
remind
exposition
all of
is.
us and inform our gentle viewers or listeners, perhaps, that one of the voice actors for this film is named, rather, one of the English voice actors is named French Tickner. He's one letter away from a rude thing. And French
Yes.
Tickner, for God's sakes, like there. If he didn't choose that name, if that's not like a nom de
That's a
plume or
birth
something,
name.
man, his parents fucking hated him.
Let's see. I was actually looking up because Suya was voiced by Miriam. I'm guessing this is a French name. Siroi. It's Sirois. So
Sounds
Sora, something like that. She's actually the voice of Akane from Ranma. Um, so
Okay.
so actually she did do stuff. Not a whole lot, but she did.
Hey, it's something.
Something. Let's see. If anyone else, no, French Tickner is that guy's name. Um, French Alexis Tickner. Let's see. Oh, he was the group dub version of voice of Mr. Popo.
Mr. Popo.
Oh God, the
Oh, he
ocean.
actually, actually, he did do a voice in Jinro, so he's actually done some decent movies.
He's
Goodness, bless his
played
heart.
Dozle Zabi in a lot of Gundam media.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of this, it just looks like it's a lot of just stuff. Alfred in Black Lagoon.
I think one of my big just issues with this movie was how much time they could have spent just letting the artists do what they want and how much they spent it on still shots of Sulia exposition for
Also,
long periods.
also, just to go back to French Techner for a second, how low ball of a role does it have to be? Like, of course, no like shade to anyone who does voice acting. How low ball of a role is it to be the additional voices for Mummies Alive?
Damn.
You know what?
Oh,
Damn.
I think I'm
he,
gonna
he got paid. He got paid.
true, and I think I'm gonna jump in on this. Just for some reason, I don't know what it is, but being an extra and stuff is just so fun. I don't know why. It's just always been enjoyable to me, no matter what medium I've done it in. It's just very low energy. You don't have to put a lot of effort, but
I
you get
say
to just
there's less pressure.
exactly. But you get to go in and just be just fucking crazy for 5 minutes, and it's
Damn.
great.
It's funny you mentioned that because the character French Tickner plays in
Oh,
this film is Yamada Jubei, the shitty old martial arts master of the club scene. So he was
Yes.
hired to wild out for 5 minutes and then take his check
Yes.
home.
Yes.
Joke on Terry.
Yes.
so
Beautiful.
so I did actually find someone that I actually recognized from someone else. The voice of Joe Higashi, who was
Who's
voiced by Jason Gray Stanford, who is Randy from Monk. the goofy assistant to Captain Stottlemyre.
Oh, my grandma loves
I
me.
guess he has a type. I guess.
Yeah,
Good
I am
point.
guessing that Ocean Group is the one who did the dubbing. 'Cause
Yeah.
Can't be. They don't have Brian Drummond or Scott McNeil.
they don't. Yeah, Scott McNeil does not show up, which is kind of the thing. But yeah, all these are either it's definitely Canada. God, I just read a title of a thing that was 321. That I it was right underneath something called a Due Galaxy Project or Galaxy Express 1999 or 999. Uh, and so I mixed a bunch of words, and I thought that the title of this program was 321 Pregnant. It is 321 Penguins, and clearly this is a
What the
Penguins.
fuck? What the fuck?
What's wrong with you?
How girl get 321 pregnant?
That sounds like something that he did in between Viper GTS and
Yeah,
something
this is
else.
something he did for like what, 1 month.
Um,
We are all terminally online.
yeah.
Thank you for
Welcome.
coming by.
Also, Robert O. Smith voiced multiple roles. Voiced Big Bear and Cheng Chid. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Robert O. Smith sounds so bland that it sounds fake.
Um,
Yeah, who was that? I can't remember the character.
it's the guy that in the opening gets like
Yeah.
possessed and like
Oh, Cheng Sinzon.
yep, that guy. Yeah.
We
Does
should
anyone?
probably go to ranking at this point.
Yeah, I
'cause
was gonna say, did anyone have anything to say?
I did, but then I forgot it.
Oh, I do remember one thing. If you're gonna watch this, photosensitivity warning, because
Oh,
there's a
right,
lot
yeah.
of flashing.
Yes.
Everything.
And not
was
just my.
Nope.
Yeah, not
Every
just
now
no, like seizure-inducing flashing. It's actually kind of hard to watch at some points.
right when they do decide to do a special move, they sure do it.
Yep.
Jeez.
All right. Well, we should probably actually rank this.
Hate this movie.
So we're gonna rank this from our normal 1 to 21 scale, with 1 being absolute mastercraft, like can't even get any better, to 21, which is absolute garbage, can't even be enjoy like fun, ironically to watch, is just painful to watch. So, Carnival, what would you put this in a 1 to 21 scale?
I feel like this is one of one of the 3 special ranks. I just don't know if it covers more of like 69
So
or 20.
I would
What's
say
what's the difference between those two more? Because so I can see which
so
one I'm.
Vehemently disagree.
I would not say this is a 69 is
This
also
is just
weird.
trash.
This is just not. It's not what the 69 is made for.
Okay.
Damn
Just
straight
just
it
a point of
isn't.
yeah, just a point of comparison. The 69 stuff that we have in Retro Room Rhapsody, we have 2 games. The first Funky Fighter and Trio the Punch. There's stuff that are actually
Okay.
halfway decent, but and the 420 is just weird. Like you can't really even put a good or bad. It's
Okay.
just weird.
That clarifies things then.
I would argue if you were going to do one of the special ones, I would argue 666.
I could see
It's
that.
not. It's
I
not
don't-
there yet because it's like
But also, the other 666 we have is Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, which that is a level of curse that is also fun to watch with other people. That this definitely does not achieve.
yeah, no, it's not that cursed. In that place, I'd probably just put this at 19.
19.
Yeah, I just want to get a quick check of what the special one rankings are just before.
Yeah, I would not. Yeah, I
But
would
then
not.
yeah, then if it's not that, I solidly put this at 19 because this is certainly watchable the same way Sadam is, but it's like it's okay. I'll put it at 18 because it's better than Sadam, but it's definitely not good.
All right. All right. So, Chachi.
I'm gonna go with 17. That feels like a decent spot for this. Like you can enjoy it, but not in the way the creators intended.
Yeah. Donut.
19. Since I've seen the other movies, I know this movie's shit, and I've been nice about it, but 19 is good.
All right. Torpo.
Wow, I feel weirdly generous here. I was gonna say like 16 or 17.
Jeez.
So I would argue 16 because this is better than the Legend of Zelda animated series.
Oh, probably.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
But the nostalgia.
No,
Yeah,
no,
but
no.
at least more happened in Salamander, which is a very sad thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind
And Dick and Dick Tracy.
Dick
wow,
Tracy was
that's
terrible, but at least it had some redeeming qualities too.
Yeah,
Some, very few.
I'm just going as if I rated the other Fatal Fury movies, because it would definitely go like 21, 20, 19 in that order.
Yeah.
2019.
Uh,
But yeah, so I would say like a 16. Also, because we don't have a 16, Lolo.
yeah, I know. I might have written down for me 16 as well for some weird reason. No, but seriously, I do actually agree that I do feel like this is a better watch than The Legend of Zelda.
you're
Actually,
right.
actually, on a very charitable rating, I would actually not mind giving this a 15. But that's being charitable.
That's being charitable.
That's nice.
Like I don't like Salamander. That's I'm thinking about this now because Salamander was like that was not a fun watch.
That was not-
Okay. So like Salamander was boring for a good chunk of it, but when there was action, things actually happened and it felt all right. But this didn't.
Yeah,
The action was like blink and you missed it.
yeah, the action sucked in this.
It was really bad.
Yeah, that
Because
16 feels
this also had the problem that Salamander had, where it was a lot of exposition and then things happened. But in Salamander, they were okay. In this, it was bad.
In
Also,
Salamander,
Salamander
each
gave
of the episodes, a third of it was things happening.
yeah, because that last episode was like stuff happened a lot in that last episode.
Also, what the fuck was up with those ninjas?
Whoa, yeah, Bone Ninjas. We didn't talk about Bone Ninjas at all.
With the
Those were
piss-filled
kinda
masks,
cool.
yes.
Yes, the P-masked Bone Ninjas.
Hello, future Lolo here. It turns out that the backups that I had in order to record this podcast at this point all simultaneously failed. Craig and Geark both disconnected earlier in the session. Our Geark disconnected right where you're hearing that. And my backup audio, just straight up audio recording, for some reason was completely unknowledgeable or unlegible. Like you couldn't hear it at all. So unfortunately, we are going to have to cut. This is all the audio that I have that we can use. So unfortunately, I had to end it right there. For the sake of, telling you how we ended up ranking this, we did give this a 16. So it is right in between Salamander and The Legend of Zelda cartoon. Some things that we called out about it. We gave it the peach for kind of its butt rocky music and did not like the art. And the art was itself, or did not like the combat, and the art was somewhat questionable. Other than that, another nay that we gave was the fact that the way too many shoehorned in game elements. That was kind of what we decided to give Fatal Fury the motion picture. So it ended up at a 16. Our first 16, in fact, for Media Delta. So yeah, that is where that ended up. Just to give the people who I normally give the time to, you can find Carnival on Twitter at Toku_Carnival. You can find Chachi at ChachiLP. He also said to give a shout out to your local animal shelter. You can find Donut Secret at Donut_Secret at Twitter, or on Twitter. And Torpotypist. You can find him at Torpotypist on Twitter and twitch.tv/Torpotypist. Also, just to give a shout out to Chachi's streaming, you can find him and his wife streaming at Max and Chachi on Twitch. So twitch.tv/Max and Chachi. And yeah, Torpotypist you can also find streaming at twitch.tv/Torpotypist. Donut Secret also streams occasionally, twitch.tv/Donut Secret. So yeah, there is kind of the unfortunate end to that episode. So what we have coming up next is we're actually starting to get into our December block, which is Christmas adjacent, unfortunately, the only holiday that gets represented in this way, or at least in a video game thing, is Christmas. So we got our Christmas block coming up, and our first one is actually a weird Mega Man OVA that's actually brought to us by the Japanese Tourism Board. So it's simultaneously a Mega Man OVA, also teaches you a lot about Japan, and specifically why you would want to come from a tourism standpoint. So yeah, Mega Man Upon a Star is what it's called, and that is going to be next week's episode. So, unfortunately, we had to end it early. Well, when we recorded it fully, but unfortunately, you only got to heard like up until that point, which, to be honest, was most of it, but still. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and I hope you tune in for the next episode. If you would like to look at the full list of rankings for yourself, please visit r3.ldp.life and go to the Media Delta List tab. If you would like to watch Media Delta's sister show, Retro Rank Rhapsody, you can either watch at youtube.ldp.life or by tuning into twitch.tv/LodaPuzzlo at 7:30 p.m. on Fridays, 2:30 p.m. on Saturdays, and 1 p.m. on Sundays. All those times are from the Eastern U.S. time zone. If you would like to discuss this episode with the community, you can do so by joining our Discord server, which you can do so by going to discord.ldp.life. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you tune in for our next episode.